What is up, DGC? I'm hanging out, and dude is on vacation. Yeah, he's on vacation. He's with his family. It's a good vacation. Man, Chad Westport hanging out with us today. Yeah, what's up, brother? Oh, awesome. Chad, I love your content. I was telling my wife, I'm like, he's one of the really smart guys out there. Now, you're a guy that really understands the science. You break it down really clean. And, man, you've been in the culture for a while, sir. Man, how long you been growing?
Growing for longer than I should probably admit. But I got my first medical license back in 2011. So
Sure.
I like to say that's when it started.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it was 1993, 1994 for me. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Okay. I was driving, had to take my wife to the airport today. And I was just driving on the way back and I was thinking about the quality, Grambo. How many minutes to it? Dang it, man.
We're groovy.
We're groovy?
Yeah, we're past it.
Okay, thank you.
DGC, you know what it is. We're a little gunshot. We're a little scared right now. So, 120 seconds.
I was thinking about the strains in 1991 or 1992 that my buddy shared with me. And it was Durban Poison. It was Northern Lights number 5. It was like Afghani. We called it Afghani. And it was things like that Durban Poison. And there was dank weed back then. Now, I'll go fast forward because that guy was using like a stolen street light and stuff. But you go to like 1994, 95, Northern Lights 5 by Hayes. I believe there was, or close, G13. I don't know when that came out, but that was in the 90s. It was really good weed.
It was, man. And like the 90s is actually kind of when I started actually recognizing names for cannabis. And really, I kind of credit like Cypress Hill for that. Cypress Hill started coming out with like, you got that Northern Lights, you got that Alaskan Thunder F, Chronic, AK-47, all of these names that they kind of rapped about, which is funny because if we think about it, Cookies was rapped about by Burner, and that launched it into, just the stratosphere as far as notoriety. But Cypress Hill was doing that back in the 90s. And for me, that's when they started getting names. Before that, for like the older generation, names were usually just the region where it came from. Colombian. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The first rapper I've associated with weed, a specific strain I'm thinking, but wasn't it Green Crack? Wasn't that Snoop Dogg strain back in the day? Am I crazy? Am I confused? That's hard for me to remember the 90s.
I remember my first time was having that bubonic chronic that makes you choke. This ain't no joke.
No, hydroponic. When Dr. Dre was rapping about, that hydro, get that dro.
Yeah.
We thought that was just like a weed. And I remember in my high school science class, they had this blue granular like container of fertilizer and it said hydro food. And I stole it. I was like, "Oh, this is the stuff."
Nice.
God,
I may or may not have liberated a triple beam from that class too.
I did too. Triple beams, bro.
There's no other place to get a triple beam, is there?
Just school.
There was no other place. Man.
Oh, man.
I guess you go to a head shop.
Oh, the 90s.
Yeah, we were laughing about that because they did have head shops, but the grow stores, you were petrified to go to a grow store back in the day, man. Did you ever deal with that, Chad?
Yeah, it was like, like Cagney and Lacey almost, because for as funny
there's a reference.
Wow.
As paranoid as people may think we were about it, no, legitimately, you look back at court cases and, just documentation, they were writing down license plate numbers. They were following growers back from the grow store. So dude, it like a 15-minute trip to the grow store took you 2-3 hours because you went somewhere first, you went there, you went somewhere next, you went across town, and then finally you're home.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, dude, it was pre-internet, so everything was urban legend kind of, but there was Operation Green Merchant, and your dealer would tell you about Operation Green Merchant, and that was where they were after. It was like a federally funded, crackdown.
Green Merchant was brutal because what it did is they went after a lot of the grow shops and like just the magazines that would advertise grow equipment. There was a gentleman, Tom Alexander, who I interviewed for the Dope History series, who got caught up in Green Merchant. And yeah, what they did is they basically sent in some undercovers, try to get them, like, hey, I'm growing cannabis. Can you sell me a grow light?
So
and
cheesy.
for him, the employees were wise to it. So, growing tomatoes. And then one of them came in and played the veteran card and said, hey, look, brother, I'm a sick veteran. I need to grow my marijuana. And one of the guys was like, come back when we close and maybe I can help you out. And that's how he kind of got busted. But yeah, Sensimilia Tips, High Times, the magazines, it was not the growers. It was that middle cog that all the growers had to go to. They wound up taking his shop, taking his inventory, never pressed charges. Go figure.
Jesus. It happened to me at a grocery store where the guy asked me to bring him some weed. He was like, hook me up. And it's just, I was really uncomfortable with it. Then a few months later, homeboy went to prison, because I guess, I don't know, but he went to prison. He was definitely working with the cops. I guess not good enough, but
it's kind of funny because there was a dance that you used to have to do whenever you went into a grow shop, or like you said, you go into the, the head shop. And if you said bong, you were kicked out. If you said
water
cool.
pipe.
So there was that awkward little dance you had to do of feeling out with the grow shop employee. It was, I kind of miss that really, you're like tomatoes, wank, wank.
Jamaican tomatoes. Oh my God. Going into a grocery store is completely different back then. I mean, rock wool slabs, they just had cases, wrapped big giant cases of rock wool slabs because that's what almost everybody was using. Drippers and rock wool slabs.
Yep. Flood to drain tables.
Sure.
I also kind of joke too, like if you tell anybody that's like 30 or younger, if you say NFT, they're like non-fungible token. If you say it to a grower that's like 40 or older, they're like nutrient film technique.
Yeah. Which is, God, how unreliable, man. That might be great for lettuce that you got a 5-day crop on, but I'm not trying to run it's like running this thin film of nutrient over the roots. That's not the way they're supposed to grow, man.
Yeah, no, we've gotten much better ways these days. And, grow stores too. If you have a grow store near you, please go and support it because they're becoming like dinosaurs. I don't have one for 60 miles near me. So if you can go to the store, go to the store.
And from a guy that sells to grow stores and sells to Amazon, God, please support your own grow store. Amazon, they probably are listening. It is scary, man. I mean, they're just going to control shopping and they're not so, there's things that they don't do very well. They take a lot from small businesses. Support your local grow store.
Yeah. And I know we're going to get into some corporate cannabis stuff here, some of that con action that's going on, but Amazon, they've already kind of said that they're cool with cannabis if it was federally legal. They have the distribution network. So once it does go federally legal, we're going to be getting weed through Amazon too.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
It is going to be. In Canada, you can already mail it around, right?
Yeah, 100%. They even at the post office in Canada have smell-proof bags that are green. So it's like, put your weed in this before you ship it.
Hey, man, one last thought about growing. You were talking about rock wool and flood and drain tables, right? When I seen pictures of dispensaries and it's 30 years later and they're still using rock wool and flood and drain tables because it's the cheapest, it's the least to dispose of, and it's reliable.
And it's fairly sterile too. Like you're not going to pick up soil pathogens. You're not going to have as many bug issues because there's not really homes for them. So for kind of quick instances like that, it's a nice sterile medium.
But I tell you what, one of the big developments in the past, however, in probably the last 15 years is the appreciation of the soil microbes. Instead of trying to keep a sterile root zone, keeping a microbial rich root zone that's full.
We learn more every day. And you can honestly, I crack up because I've always been a fan of like propaganda and marketing, all of this stuff, because we all know how traditional ag is, like salt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap. the supply of that salt is shrinking worldwide. It's harder to get. It may not be available. And now their conversation is changing to soil microbes and how that increases the efficiency of fertilizer. So there's less runoff that goes into the waterways. So big ag is transferring to it. And yeah, we're learning more every day about soil microbes and how it really wants to work.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny how the world works. Not funny, but man, when it's super cheap to do, they let, like whether it's polluting the, runoff with just too much fertilizer, when it's cheap, they'll throw a bunch on there. And if some of it runs off, all right, simple solution.
And I heard a great quote the other day that ties directly into it. A fine for rich people is just a way to pay to break the law, because so many companies are profiting this much and the fine is this much. So we'll pay that fine to make this much.
You hippie.
So yeah,
I love it.
Fine is just a way for rich people to break the law.
There's a quote about that where it's like, if the punishment is a fine, it's a law for the poor. Yeah.
That's deep, man. That is deep. Hey, I will just say that it is a lot easier to grow weed now than it was before, man. So much easier.
100%. We might not even have to do much in another 4 or 5 years other than just fill that water tank. So it's interesting to see where it goes, but it gives people so much more access to it. Like whatever your level of involvement is, you can fit in and manage to grow a plant. Whether you want to be completely hands-on or you want to be completely automated, the doors are opening for more people to grow.
Absolutely. Hey, Grambo.
Yeah.
I did some research, and I saw what the cheapest Temu grow kit you can get.
Oh my God.
It's like $275. I thought it might be a good short form to get one and see what it looks like. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to waste $275.
No, that's probably for the best.
But I mean, what are you, $500? I think we decided for a decent AC Infinity 2x4.
Yeah, you could get into it where it used to cost thousands. Yeah, you could get a rad setup for less than $1,000 now, and you could get started for $400 or $500 and started with good stuff.
Yeah. What's the best advice you would give somebody if they were getting started? If they was going to order their tent. I'm going to order a tent, Chad.
Yep. My experience proven tip is always smaller tents are harder to control your environment. A lot of people want to get started with like a 2x2 because they're like, I'm just going to grow one plant. Honestly, it is a beast to control your heat and humidity in a 2x2. Go with that 2x4 or a 4x4. That's usually my advice on tents.
Yeah, but the 2x4, man, I got a couple of them. I have never really grown in them before. I don't know, last year. Pleasure, the whole kit and everything with the carbon filter and the computer control and humidity and temperature. Pleasure, man.
I mean, that's awesome. Something right there. Telling young growers, there was a time where carbon filters didn't exist. Could you imagine growing during that time? It was crazy.
Dude, I can't tell you how many false walls I've built because I grew before grow tents existed. I'm a carpenter, man.
Yes. Oh, man. Hey, one last thing. If I'm thinking about old versus new, I do love my volcano, man, and all the unique cool smoking devices there are now. Dave Johnson had a Pax pen a couple of days ago, and you packed a little bit of herb in there, and that thing was pretty cool. There's so many cool devices.
There are, and we keep getting inventive, right? I am still waiting for a good portable pocket flower vape. I've tried many over the years, and it's never for me hit the mark because you can only load so much and then it's a beast to clean it out. Concentrates, they've nailed the recipe. But for flower, I'm still waiting for that device you could put in your pocket.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Nathan Johnson came over. We're hanging out in Denver, and he had something called, it's a Pax pen, PAX, I believe. Yeah.
Those are fancy ones over in Washington. I see those in the stores.
Yeah, it worked really good. I mean, it's little. Oh wow!
Looks like they're sold out.
Oh wow! No, it looks like it's only available for certain states. I guess.
Take me home tonight.
That'd be weird. It's not available in Colorado.
Yeah.
Right. That is a little weird. Anyway, I thought it was decent. I thought it was good, actually. Give 4 or 5 hits.
PAX is selling gummies. What is going on in the market out here?
What's going on? Oh, what else, man? What else? Hey, I did just Google this. I had to drive my wife to the airport this morning at 6:45. And for some reason, I was just wide awake and I was just thinking of all sorts of different stuff on the way home. I started thinking of this conversation that we'd have. And then I was kept on, your mind goes back to big business coming into cannabis. And then, like, are they going to GMO it like they do almost everything else that they're trying to make money on?
Yeah, they absolutely are. There's multiple ways of accomplishing that, though. So there's, like genetically modified, you can do that kind of through breeding. That's kind of what we are doing. We're changing the profile. But then there's the route that people don't like, where you go into like the RNA, the DNA, and you insert things into the DNA, and that changes things. So they're absolutely going to do it. That's why they're doing like genetic mapping, looking for marker assisted breeding, because there are things that turn on and turn off, like resistance to powdery mildew. There are things that you can turn on and turn off to get certain expressions. So yeah, once they unlock that code, absolutely they're going to do it because it's good for business.
I heard they're already doing it. I heard they're already, I think it's just some universities and some private studies. But the one of them, they already GMO'd something. We did a story on it. It was, they cut out the THC and CBD, the part of the DNA that's responsible for making that. And I don't know if they inserted it or they just had expressed the gene that does CBN, which I don't even know what that is, but they made a plant that just produces CBN.
That's that yellow sleepy molecule.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what makes the trichomes turn amber. And,
I can already see Big Pharma making the next sleeping aid.
Yeah, because there's that progression of the cannabinoid throughout its life. As it's, it's younger, it's a lot of CBG, which is kind of the beginning of it all. Yeah, then it can convert to THC. And when THC degrades, you get that CBN.
Yeah, so CBGA down to THC, CBD, and then the final stage is that CBN. It's so funny how bro science always was like, oh, if you let it go too long, it makes it more indica sleepy. Turns out they were right. Bro science.
Well, it was already at the time when they said that they had terpene testing, right, and cannabinoid testing. So
not in my world. Maybe someone did, but it was just word of mouth back then.
Yeah, the bro science, there was so much back in the day. So much bro science.
Still a little bit.
Yeah, but at least if you care enough, you can figure it out.
We're working on debunking a lot of that stuff or confirming it. That's really what bro science is. There's so much anecdotal evidence that adds up. And like Grambo, perfect example there. Turns out we were absolutely right. And then there's the bro science of like, drive the nail through your stalk before you harvest and you get more trichomes. That one, oddly, is still out there too.
What is that? You know what? It's about stress, right? And stress is fascinating. To coax the last little bit of trichomes out of your plant by stressing it really is fascinating. Are you one of them guys that
absolutely?
Yeah. Come on, give me some tricks, man.
Yeah, dude. I do drought stress at the end. Drought stress has been shown to increase secondary metabolites, which are cannabinoids and terpenes, amongst other things, in cannabis. And it applies to other plants like peppers. It's the oil that gives them their flavor, their heat. Drought stress on peppers is a great thing to bring out that expression. And that plant can be studied and documented. So we have evidence, and then we can apply it towards cannabis now in certain situations. But yeah, drought stress at the end. As a new grower, you do everything to baby your plant and give it that perfect, like you were saying earlier, that perfect, sterile, gentle environment. The more you learn about growing, the more you learn like, I'm going to stress my plant in controlled ways to get better results.
Yeah, I'm thinking when you go away, as long as it's not too long where they droop. But if you go away and come back and, you've gone for a day or so and your plants have dried out, you're like, oh my God, man, these things have just exploded with growth.
It's crazy. I'm sure everybody here, myself included, has come back to a plant and the leaves are just blah, 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 like that.
Yeah.
But if you catch it fast enough and you water, day or two, it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to think what else. You play with any of the chemicals, the chitosan or the, what's the other one? Silicic acid people use,
Right.
or salicylic acid. I don't know, Grandma.
Yeah.
I say silicic.
I do. One of them's silica, one of them's aspirin. Salicylic. All right.
We were talking about the NPK, phosphorus, and potassium, and how like sometimes we get that order mixed up. Silica, silicon, pyrethrin, pyrethrum. One's organic, the other's simply chemical. Sometimes I get those ones mixed up there.
They don't make it easy for us, by the way.
All right, Scotty, you guys know we were deleted by YouTube. We're doing things a little bit different now. So we're going to take this part. Where are we taking this jam to, homeboy?
RealDGC.com.
RealDGC.com.
That's right.
/shows. So head over there. You can go to RealDGC.com or RealDGC.com/shows. And this is live right over there. Come join us over there.
Yes. And the idea here is that I want to show the poster of the best bud of, what was it, 1980?
95. And we got a 95 and a 1977 all queued up.
It's a classic. There's a couple things I want to show. Chad has a calendar.
Chad might have
I'll tell you what, hop on over there. I hope to see you over there, RealDGC.com. And Grambo, through the magic. Where are we, man?
We're back. We're doing it.
I love it. Cool. All right. We can actually hang out. First off, all right, I actually am too high. I'm not smoking. Chad, where'd you get that calendar?
Dude, so, okay, this... Yeah, you know, the mandatory minimum thing was a beast, and it was 99 plants, you were cool, 100 plants, you were not. And that's why a lot of people grew 99 plants. And when they started doing those mandatory minimums, we moved away from sea of green and merged into screen of green because, 20 little plants in one place, turn and burn, worked well, but you get sentenced for 20 plants. And when you get sentenced, you don't actually get sentenced by what it produces or its size. There was a defined amount per plant that was tacked onto every plant you had. So whether it was this big or it was a freaking 25-pound plant, you got the same sentence. So yeah, they moved away from that sea of green where you have multiple little colas to the screen. So there you go. That's a evolutionary change in cannabis directly related to the laws.
That is a big deal. Yeah, because you started growing trees, and growing trees does take different techniques. When you're just flipping really small plants with the sea of green, what do you have? 10-day veg at the most? You're basically cloning 10-day veg. And they're going right onto the tables. Yeah, it's a lot different.
Flip it over. And if you add up your yields per year in that space, it usually wound up to more just by doing tons of little plants quicker than big plants longer.
Well, it's also yield. Like, I know it sounds like a business thing, but how much did you yield over the last 12 months? Well, I had more harvest because instead of doing a 6-week or whatever, a 4-week veg, I did a 10-day veg.
Exactly. It was, if you were doing it for the long term, you look at those annual yields and you're like, makes sense. Let's run it. Plus, it was easy to move too. You can set up and tear down fairly quick.
Yeah, that is true. Man, it used to be the worst part. Not the worst part. Taking out the garbage. What were you going to do with the garbage at the end of harvesting the 20 lighter? Yeah, that was always, there was a lot of bust back then.
I'm glad we've learned more about soil and the microbes, and we've learned how to amend it and reuse it now, because if anybody sticks a shovel in my yard, they're coming up with fucking perlite and cocoa.
Yes. Yes. I was doing that a couple of days ago. I was kicking the root ball around the backyard. It did drive me nuts. I don't like when I see soil being thrown away, just the 3-gallon root balls being thrown away. And you do see a lot of that. I guess that's good for the landfill, right? That's actually a nice public service. Hey, I'm fortifying the landfill. All right. I'm giving it some good soil. Huh. All right. See that, Grambo? That gives you lemons. You make lemonade out of it. All right.
Sure.
Oh, man. Grambo took me to a club last week.
This last weekend.
He's like, come on, I'm going to hang out. We'll come get you. We'll hang out. And I'm like, do you want to go to, there's a patio that serves beer. And they're like, no, we're going to a place where the dance floor lights up.
It was fun, though. That was you and Mrs. Rio were cutting it up. Yes. That was an amazing night.
Hey, Chad.
What's up, brother?
Did I tell you our YouTube account got deleted, man?
Dude. Yeah. And I kind of found out like probably an hour after it went down because I had watched most of the episode that day and then went back that night, hit refreshed, and it said channel deleted. I didn't believe it. And then I crapped my pants, which is, oh my God, brother. How are you doing?
It's all good. I didn't want that to be a downer, but it has got me thinking of why. I was starting to think why, and then there's been a bunch of conspiracy theories going around. Me and you were talking, and it did make sense. Like I said, I had to be up at I was up at 6:24 this morning, and of course, what do? You scroll YouTube. And I was brushing my teeth and listening to this. It was A More Perfect Union was the name of the YouTube channel. And it kind of reminds me of like old school Vice back in the day. They're very liberal, but it was about the corporate takeover of cannabis. And man, a lot of what they said, I was like, dude, if I was, in the middle of a corporate takeover of cannabis, one thing I wouldn't like would be people telling you how easy it is and cheap it is to grow your own and fun it is to grow your own medicine. And calling it medicine, boy, that would probably really bother them.
Yeah, it's going to cut into their bottom line. And especially if people realize that there is a quality difference from good small batch grown cannabis compared to mass produced stuff. It's just the nature of what it is. But yeah, home growers, I honestly think it's going to expose more people to it, but they're thinking it's going to cut into their profit. So they're not too cool with home grows, which is unfortunate because that is like one of the biggest parts of legalization. I would put that second behind freeing prisoners and not sending people to jail.
Yeah, but it's not a big part of legalization in a lot of states. I think there's either 40 or 41 states. I'm not really sure. It's something close like that have some kind of either medical or rec cannabis. And then it's 25 that have growers' rights that allow home grow. That's a lot of states that don't allow you to grow your own cannabis. You can only go to the store.
I lived that here in Washington. 2012, we legalized. 2014 was the first rec sale. So 13 years after the fact, unless you have a medical card, which I do, you still can't grow a single plant in the state of Washington. That's ass backwards.
Wow. Washington is just a med state?
No, we're recreational. We voted to pass recreational adult use cannabis in 2012.
Yeah, passed the same year as Colorado. Colorado had dispensaries 12 months later. They had theirs 12 years later.
Oh, man, it was amazing. Right? Like sometimes when the law hasn't caught up with shit yet, I'm telling you, you could just bring a backpack of weed to a dispensary and they put cash in your backpack and you would leave, man.
They break out a scope, like look at the trichomes, not even really known. It's like, two dudes standing around at a broken car, just lift the hood, look at the engine and go, But they would just look at it with their scope and be like, And then here you go.
Yeah, they were just looking for like bug poop and things like that. And if it didn't have obvious contamination,
I've seen them take garbage back then. I had a couple buddies that I tried to help grow. They didn't do that good of a job, and it still were able to sell it to the dispos back then. So crazy.
That is one good argument for oversight or regulation. Again, a lot of people, me in particular, want consumer protection for medicinal patients. We don't want it grown with Eagle 20. We don't want we don't want bug crap. So there does need to be some sort of like looking in and testing at stuff. But again, the way they have it set up now is easily manipulated, and we already see the consequences. So another argument for growing your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think and it also has a lot to do with price. If you're like a free market, you're slinging a little bit of weed free market, and you got to keep your customers. If your customers, if the weed starts sucking or I mean, yeah, pack low bud. People don't want to come back for pack low bud, you know?
Well, when you're the only game in town and that's the only option people have, or they're not educated enough to know that there's something different, that's what you wind up with. And states that are legalizing without home grow, that's the road they're traveling down.
Yeah, and that's my point, is if it's, I mean, I know it's a problem because what is it, $1,000 a pound some places?
I mean, that's a good mid price. I mean, there's states where it's like $500 a pound. And then there's some states where if it's, you know, boutique za, you can get a little bit more, $1,500 maybe, but
boutique za.
What did he call it? Za. Wow.
Za.
I'm into it.
Wow.
Got the za.
I only smoke that boutique za.
I'm using that, man. Well, have you seen this boat bud that is as good as yours? Wow, it's a big question, huh?
I have seen some, and that I would have been like, I would have be stoked to say this that came out of my grow room. But the problem with that is those are the $60, $70, $80 eighths, and nobody should be paying that. So yeah, I have seen really good stuff, but it's completely out of the price range for a normal person, let alone a medical person.
Yeah, I remember a $50 eighths hurt. I remember when it was 50 and 100 with no breaks. But I tell you what, I would take that weed today. It was frosty.
It's kind of a weird and funny thing about legalization. I've noticed this with cannabis and skateboard decks. They're the same damn price as when I was a kid, which is weird. An eight's kind of always been $40 and, you know, skate deck's always been around 60. I don't know why they haven't gone up or down with the times, but yeah, $40 eights. That's what they should be, right?
I don't know. It is kind of expensive, right?
In today's market, yeah. I mean, $20 eights is like in the legal market, like a $20 eighth is a good deal for people. But again, sometimes it's a hit or miss with those bags.
All right, I'm gonna do the math really quick. If you're selling a bunch of $20 eighths, and there's 8 eighths in an ounce, that is $160 an ounce. Did I do it right, Grambo?
I don't think so. But
anyway, is it worth growing?
8 times 40 is $320.
Oh, there you go.
8 times 40 is $320. Oh, it's $20, man. Sorry. Yes. Okay. $320. That's a lot per ounce. I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty good pricing.
400 an ounce was pretty regular for like KB back in my day.
But what about now? I don't want to pay $40. I ain't paying $40 for no 8.
I'd say eight in Denver, 80 an ounce is pretty regular.
But what kind of weed is it?
Mids, upper mids.
What does?
Yeah. Denver's ridiculous, but in the same time, the flower market's going down, concentrate market's going up. The days of $80 grams are here. I saw $80 rosin gram the other day, and I was like,
holy,
what's in there, bro?
Holy crap.
You need to come to Washington where like 40, 60 is like the top.
I mean, you can get $4 grams of concentrate if you want, but this was for like the goody good.
Can you really?
Yeah. Distillate costs nothing.
Oh, distillate.
They're giving it away. Yeah. There's still shatter. There's still bad wax. It's all that remediation game. The stuff we've talked about. When I was in Vegas at the MJ BizCon, they had a gamma ray machine, and it would gamma your bud back clean. Oh, the FBI's here.
No, but seriously, a helicopter just flew over. I seen them. I live near power lines, and they fly over the power lines. But that would have terrified me 25 years ago.
No.
Terrified me. Remember, there was helicopters that would come and use heat sinks.
Whirlybirds, bro. Whirlybirds.
Ghetto birds. Yes. Yeah, now they just do it with drones. Now they fly drones over your house and check the heat signature of your rooms.
Oh,
God damn it. Yeah, life's complex. I want a cop holding a radar gun. They've got in my town now, they've got these automatic on every traffic light. If you go through it or you speed, it's got like a automated ticket dispenser thing, radar thing. And I'm like, I can't believe they made me wish for a cop on the corner with a radar gun like the olden days, On
the bright side, you don't have to pay those legally. That's a private company that runs those.
No, I think you have to pay them, but they don't go in your record.
No, you don't got to pay them.
This
is not legal advice.
Legal advice from you, Grambo.
I saw a news story. Maybe it's just Colorado.
They're going to come and take you away. They're going to handcuff you like this, Grambo.
They've tried.
Hey, man, you guys like ever get really high, man, and like sit at the stop sign with a hairdryer?
No.
It's awesome.
What's that do?
They think you're a cop with a radar gun. I had to explain the joke, which means it wasn't good. But it's funny.
And I get jokes. Grambo gets jokes, man. Do you want to buy that one from him, Grambo?
$20 eighth.
I love it, man. I love it. Yes, I don't know. Back to the YouTube thing. I was trying to think of why they would what the agenda would be. And really what I was, yes, sir.
Well, I was going to say, we talked about this article here. If you want to talk about the pros and cons list, we found this article that is 1,000 pages long where they are listing every single thing they've ever heard of a grower do that's wrong. And they just list it as like, oh, cons. They're using blood thinners to kill pests. Like, they're doing what?
I mean, see if you can scroll down and find it, because here I'll look for it.
First of all, the article is 1 billion.
What is that article? If it is Britannica, don't they write encyclopedias?
I think they used to before the internet. Now they just, this article is an encyclopedia, dude.
I mean, these are con arguments against it. And Chad had a brilliant thought with regards to con.
It's funny how they just tell you what they're doing right in the title. Like, this is a con. We're conning you. Here's all this bullshit. They're not lying. We told you what we're doing. It's a con.
Yeah, this is a con. I mean, they really try to hit you on all levels, man. Cannabis requires double the amount of water needed to grow grapes or tomatoes. Taking water directly from rivers and streams in the summer to grow marijuana reduces water availability for agriculture and threatens wildlife species. I mean, dude, they are. And these are all lobbyist groups that are doing this. This is the Stanford Woods Institute. You know, there's this is hang on. This is crazy, man. It says growing marijuana in a number of waste streams, including agricultural waste, mercury containing waste as a result of UV light use, toxic and flammable waste from THC chemicals or extraction chemicals. Uneducated growers without state supported guidelines may be destroying their local environments. I mean, that is propaganda, no?
Hugely. Again, it's calling the kettle black too. It's like, come on, man, you're pointing the finger. You're just holding up a mirror to yourself. Like, you guys are doing all of this stuff. And it's a great example of cherry picked information. Like you said, you find one bad example and then you think everybody's doing it. Like, all Halloween candy has, weed wrappers.
I mean, the Colorado Attorney General's office stated legalization has inadvertently helped fuel the business of Mexican drug cartels. Cartels are trading drugs like heroin for marijuana. Wow. And it's an open door for human trafficking. And that is shit. That is, I guess that is actually true in California.
I got stuck in some human traffic on the way here.
Grambo.
And even if you look at and even if you look at like the federal statistics and the federal information, they have, written and documented that like drug trafficking, or at least cannabis trafficking from Mexico into the United States, has dramatically dropped. It's actually kind of reversed. They're like bringing it back. But in general and in whole, cartels are in the business of making money. They don't care what it is or how it is. And so when cannabis got legal and it kind of fell off and there wasn't as much money more, they moved more into things like human trafficking. And that's documented at the federal level. It's like, guys, you're spewing BS out of both sides of your mouth right now.
I like extortion because it has no inventory. You know what I mean? It's a good crime, right? Just kidding.
One of the things they list here is that recent marijuana users, according to a 2025 study, have a 68% reduced capacity for brain activity and working memory tasks. All right.
Bro, that's the same guy who said it's 23% sativa and 82% indica.
If you smoke a 50% THC strain, you lose 60%. And statistics can prove anything. 17% of people know that.
Of course.
Dude, I'm just looking. Grambo, will you scroll down to the one? No, it's all. We can kill that article. But there's a YouTube video I saw. I think Bartman sent this to me.
This one here?
No. I will skip all the way to this one right here.
All right.
Scott's Miracle Grow CEO speaks to Trump about marijuana legalization. And I don't even mention politics, but
I watched this.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was that him?
When that's not an ally, right? The head of Scott's wants to legalize cannabis. They do want to sell fertilizer. They're in the business of selling fertilizer at Home Depot.
The thing I love about this interview too is shortly it will give you a chart of all of the Hawthorne owned businesses. There it is.
Oh,
and now you're like, okay, so these are the companies that I should not buy, I should not support.
Trust.
Cool.
GH is on there. GH is on there.
GH, Gavita. Who else do we know here? Rizoflora.
Yeah. Wow.
Botanicare. Didn't know that. All right.
All right. So, but this is
Psycho. No, that's what I used.
They cold snitched on each other right there, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I grew with Psycho for years. I had no clue.
Chad taught me what that word means. Thank you, sir.
That dry.
Thank you.
Chad's all about dry back and dry snitching.
Right.
Anyway, yes, sir.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to explain it, but that's okay. We'll move on.
That's all good. I was just looking. I had to ask if Monsanto owns Scott's, and because Hawthorne is owned by Scott's Miracle Grow, but Monsanto doesn't own it. Scott's just is the only people that have the license to sell Roundup. You can spray it on your crops.
Yep. And Monsanto is now Bayer. So Monsanto isn't even Monsanto anymore. They've been absorbed. And again, they're playing the name game. You can change the name of a company just to rehabilitate its reputation. And they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that had a bad reputation. Oh, man. Come on, Grambo. Yeah. We'll talk about what's growing on YouTube, man.
Sure. First of all, we got to shout out our guest today. Mr. Chad Westport has an amazing channel over on YouTube. I must have closed it, but I'll find it here. How do they find you over on YouTube, Chad?
Chad Westport. That is the YouTube channel. Easy to find me. That's pretty much what most of my things are. ChadWestport.com, Chad Westport on YouTube. And then Instagram, I throw you for a loop because I put a dot in the middle. It's Chad.Westport.
You still have your Instagram. Look at you.
You're so cool. Hey, Grandma, let's go down to that seed, man.
What seed?
There was a seed. Yeah, that one.
Oh, right here?
Oh, yeah, man. What's up with that? No, just leave the thumbnail, man.
All right.
What? Yeah. Yes. Good hanging out, Chad, man. All right. Gotta be real specific.
Much love. Much love. And shout out to the DGC, everybody in the chat, everybody on DGC.com, holding it down. Much love to you guys. Thank you for supporting DGC and myself. And hey, let's do this again soon, brother.
I love it, man. Love hanging out with you, brother. And thanks for helping us out, man, getting this out for us. It's a pretty weird couple weeks, man. So you rock, man. Chad Westport, youtube.com/Chad Westport. Yeah. All right. Be good, all y'all. Grambo.
Yes, sir.
Take her easy, brother.
Yeah, man.